Hey everybody, welcome to Q&A Dice Tower. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing it in my office today because we're working on some stuff in the live studio. And maybe I'll do these in my office just because it's a cozier setting in here. But this is live Q&A that we do each week or every other week, I guess. And I answer your questions and talk to you about various things and tell you what's coming up in the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower conventions, Dice Tower East, is running out of tickets. So you better get them. If you're considering coming, do not delay. Come on out and join us. The library gets better as we speak. I just upgraded Terrorscape. I am putting 2 copies of Pokemon Splendor in the Hot Games room. Got a new ridiculous dexterity game over the weekend. So, anywho, that's what's going on here. I have a list of things that is tremendously long because next week I'm going to see my daughter graduate from college, Amy. So looking forward to that. I guess I can check that off the list. And yeah, wow, it is a long list though, and many things to do. We got 4 more sessions of our top 100 games of all time. Next week, they'll slow down to 1 a week, but we got a lot coming to you this week. So 2 tomorrow and 2 Thursday. I hope that you enjoy them. So anyhow, Chrissy said, I thought you had a closet office. I did have a closet office, but because of various things, I have moved back into a normal-sized office. So, yeah. So that's where I am now. The closet office is still there. People need to go there just for privacy at the Dice Tower for various things. Let me see here. Well, no one's asking questions, so let's see what's going on. I have that there. I have this here. Played a lot of games over the weekend. Went to the big game bash in with Joey, so I had a fantastic time there. If you are anywhere in South Florida, you are missing out by not coming to these. So many games played, such a good time. Looking forward to doing it again. I'm playing games tomorrow. Actually, I'm playing games tonight. So, yeah, lots of different games getting played. Which of the Dice Tower employees have you known the longest? Well, I mean, of everyone, including part-time, it would be the co-owner of the Dice Tower, which would be my wife. But if you beyond that, I met Sam in college, so there was that, and then probably Z, right? Because I met him when I first came to this area. So there you have it. Looking for Rex. I'm assuming Rex means recreations. And thoughts for my parents. Oh, Rex means recommended. I do not like the internet's needing to shorten everything. Anyway, they're older and have bad vision. They're non-gamers who enjoy family time. Top 10 games for accessibility in the future. That's not going to happen probably. The only way that would happen is if I was in the exact same situation and I could say these are 10 games that worked. But accessibility, I'm kind of guessing, and I wouldn't know very well. So you're better off finding people and posting like on Facebook and asking questions for people who can help do that themselves or who can give you that kind of information. I would really recommend that because I could just be like, I think this will work, but I'm not sure. Any plans to produce a game yourselves? Well, likely not, but we will see. How many tickets left and how many tickets in all? There's 1,800 tickets, and I think there's 150 left. Someone just actually said that in chat, how many were left. 152. Recommendation is hard to spell, yes. When is hurricane season? That's a good question. Hurricane season, let's see here. We'll give us the dates. It officially starts June 1st. They say preseason storms have formed with regularity in May over the past decade. One formed in April. Well, this year the first hurricane name will be Alberto. So that's information. And then I believe the hurricane season goes till November 1st, I think. Forecast Group predicts the busiest hurricane season record with 33 storms. Well, that's unfun. Why are we giving this information? Okay, well, we'll see. Will that giant marble table be in the deck study room at Dice Diaries? Probably. Probably. Sharon says June 1st and November 30th. There you go. November 30th. Sharon would know for sure. Any predictions on the Spiel des Jahres nominees? Well, they're not going to announce them, I think, till June this year. That's a good question. So let me look here at Board Game Geek, and I'm going to pull up the games that were produced last year and this year, and then I will sort them out by the number of people playing them, because that matters a lot. And let's see what I might think here, because I'm going to be skipping a lot of these, because a lot of them are simply... So Sky Team... I don't know. Sky Team's interesting. Sky Team might be on the list. I'll say Forest Shuffle is on the list. I mean, it will probably be on the Kenner Spiel, but I'll go with Forest Shuffle as one of my Kenner Spiel thing. I should write these down. All right, so Kenner Spiel, I'll say Forest Shuffle. And I'm going to say that Sky Team will make a recommended list. Let's see what else we got on here. Nope. I would love World Wonders to make the list. I don't know if World Wonders made it into Germany. Nar. Faraway is very, very popular. I wonder if Faraway might have a chance to make it too. In fact, I need to write down Faraway here. Faraway. And I need to write down Slay the Spire. That has nothing to do with this. These are just games that I need to look into for various things. Let's see what else we got here. That's not a hat. Maybe they do put in party games sometimes. Let's see. Bot Factory Bamboo. Next Station Tokyo. I don't think they would do a sequel. Five Towers. I wonder if Five Towers has a chance, because I could see that one making it in. Man, I'm not sure. There's a lot of cool games that have come out since the last one. I know some people have said Kabanga will make it in. I hope not, but they do pick things like Llama. So what do I know? Picking some terrible games. Chicken. Lacuna is a neat game, but that's 2-player. I don't think they would put that one in. Sea Salt and Pepper. No. Raua. Savernaki Fars is a cool little game. Maybe that one might make it. I'm going to move Sky Team to the off the recommended and to the nomination list. Someone told me a game. Mind Up. Mind Up is super simple, though. I know people are, Wandering Towers. I'm going to say Wandering Towers. Not only am I going to say Wandering Towers, but I'm going to say, unless something else changes my mind, I'm going to say that's going to win the Spiel. I might be wrong, but Wandering Towers definitely would get up there. Leaf, Sunrise Lane, Romy Rami. I'm trying to pick games I think that they might pick for whatever reasoning. Moon River, Mindspace. Challengers was in last year, so that one can't go back in again. The all-play games are always cool, but I don't know if they would pick them. Donuts from Bruno Catala. That would be an outside pick. The Art Project. Let's see. Boop. Series. I'm starting to get down into 400 ratings. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, right? Because they're just picking games. And, Let me do. Let's see if anyone else has done predictions. Various people are picking predictions. Nar? Man, maybe Nar. Heat's not going to be in there because Heat already came out. Harmonies I've not played. Mlem? I hope not Mlem, but they do tend to like Knizia there. Well, I don't want to spend forever on this, folks, so I am going to say, let's see. I'm just going to say Wandering Towers for the Spiel, and I'll say Forest Shuffle for the Kenner. Those will be my two predictions, but we'll see. All right, let's go back and answer other questions. We're thinking of moving to Florida. What's the best place to move to if you have preschool kids? I don't know. I'm not going to answer that one either. You're going to have to look online and go through that. I haven't lived in all different places in Florida. I only live here, so I couldn't speak to other places. Where does the Dice Tower cruise travel to? And does it go to the same ports each year? Sometimes it goes to the same ports. This year, it's not going to the same ports. We're going to St. Thomas, I believe. Or St. Martin. Sorry, St. Martin. And we're going to San Juan. And then we're going to Coco Cay. Those are the three we're going to this year. But last year, we didn't go to any of those. So they're different each year. What are the spectaculars planned for this year, and roughly when will they be? We have the Summer Spectacular, which is coming up at the beginning of June, not too far away, and you'll be able to do the countdown to it because that's when the final 10s from the folks who are doing the top 100s of all time will be. And we'll have a bunch of other cool stuff for you in the Summer Spectacular and the Winter Spectacular. So we're doing two spectaculars this year, summer and winter. Do you watch any board game content creators who have less than 1,000 subscribers? I don't know that I ever look at the subscriber numbers when I look at anything. I don't watch a ton of board game content, and it's not because I'm not interested in it. It's because I try not to let myself be influenced by what other people are saying, per se. Sometimes I watch it. I'll tell you when I watch it the most is when I play a game that's horrific, like horrific, and it was a Kickstarter. Then I always go watch all the Kickstarter previews because I'm like, these people had to say something good about this game. What did they say? What could they have possibly found that was good in this game? But that's about it for the most part. And sometimes if I hear about someone, I might go watch the reviews. I was just watching, a review channel this morning because someone mentioned them, and I was like, I'll go check them out. And I watched a few things that they did. But that's kind of in passing. I honestly don't normally look at subscribers to see if I'll watch someone or not. Who is my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? Or what's TMMT? TMNT is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know what TMMT means. Does board game hobby increasing or decreasing? I think it's increasing. Is there a game you were late to finally get to play that you wish you had discovered sooner? Well, maybe, but I don't really worry about that sort of thing. What's going to happen? Am I going to be like, I could have been playing this my whole life? I mean, my only regrets are that some of these massive, amazing games with thousands of hours in were around when I was a teenager. I would have loved them if my parents had got me one. Are you going on any non-board game related trips this year? Well, I just said I'm heading to Pensacola. My daughter is graduating from college, so I'll be heading there. And then I'm going to be taking a trip with my wife later this year to celebrate our 25th anniversary, which is in 17 days. So that's nice. Let's see. Instead of verbing right or smurfing right, which is the definitive term now, why not just say random right? Because it's not always random. So, no, that wouldn't make any sense. No sense at all. No one would understand it. Similar to Delicio being wrong about The Crew, what was the last game you were wrong about? You mean where I predicted it wouldn't do well and it did well? And I don't think Mike seriously predicted that. I think he was mostly kidding. I don't know. I mean, sometimes a game does a lot better than I think it will do. DC Deck Builder is always my thing. I didn't think that game would take off the way it did. But there's a lot of games I don't like, and I play them, and I'm usually pretty okay with my predictions about if a game will be popular or not. But I'm not saying I have been right. Sometimes a game blows my mind how popular or not popular it is. Do you think Agamonia will be a commercial success towards Gloomhaven or more moderate? It would be hard for a game to be as successful as Gloomhaven was. I mean, Agamonia is doing well, as far as I can tell, but I'm not sure that it's going to do as well as Gloomhaven. I don't know that it will even come close. It'd be interesting if it did. If the kids enjoy the gummies on the drive home, I don't think we let them eat gummies in the car. Maybe, but I doubt it. But maybe. What's your favorite bad game? Hang on. Excuse me. Sorry. That's two. Maybe there is no third. All right. I can't recommend a game to others in good conscience. Maybe the rulebook's terrible, the game is broken, but you think it's really cool. I don't know if I even have an answer for that. If the rulebook's bad or whatever, I wouldn't recommend it to other people, and I wouldn't think it's cool either. Because that sort of thing bothers me. Are you planning on doing a top 10 Dominion expansions? Maybe we'll do that at some point. Maybe I would do a top 5. I don't know if I do a top 10 because there's only 14 or something. So I'm just basically picking the 4 I can't put in. This is a question for my wife, says Jason, who does not want me to be annoyed at him. Do you think the more negative opinions from the other reviewers based on time and energy are skewed because of the amount of games they played? I don't know what that means. The more negative opinions from the other reviewers based on time and energy. What negative opinions from other reviewers? Which reviewers are you talking about? I mean, we negatively review games. Are you talking about me? If you can give me some clarifying answers to that, I'm not quite sure. Do you think Ark Nova needs another expansion? No. Does this game really need more cards? No. Is there another new Ark Nova expansion announced? I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't get one, but does it need one? I haven't seen any announcement about it. I'm looking now on Board Game Geek. I mean, it's always possible. I've only seen Ark Nova, the Zoo Map Pack 1, which, I mean, they're going to make more Zoo Maps packs, I'm assuming, and Marine Worlds. I don't see anything else. What's my favorite Magic the Gathering card? I don't really have one. Frodo. How many states of the US of A have you not been to yet? I think more than half. It might be half. I'm not sure. I know I went through one of those things where you check them off one time, and you always think you've been more places than you have. But I have not been to many, many states. Do you think they'll make DC United backwards compatible with Marvel United? Not outwardly. I assume the two will work together. We will see. If they work together, then that would be fantastic. I would love for them to work together, but they're not going to be, legally, they're probably not allowed to say. But that doesn't stop me from saying. Do you ever play games on Board Game Arena? I don't. I've heard many good things about it. Maybe I will someday. What is the most interesting or surprising coincidence you've experienced? Well, I don't know off the top of my head, but I just talked to someone 2 days ago who said that their wife, they had met when they went to Disney World when they were children. They happened to be there playing, and then they just met. They didn't live near each other or anything. They just met, and then when they were getting married or before they got married, went to the house, saw the picture, and he was in the picture there because they had met as little kids and played together. I thought that was a cool story. What's the basic hardware and software you recommend for someone recording video reviews in GameTube? I would recommend you get an iPhone or a good phone. It doesn't have to be an iPhone. Just a good phone as a camera. And then buy some sort of microphone, like what I'm using here. This is DJI. I'm not sure what it's called. And use that. Start with that. Software on the computer. Figure out the computer. Use it. If you're using a Mac, use iMovie. If you're using a PC, ask people who use PCs. And just do that at first. See if you even like doing it first. Phoenicia is a horrible rule book, but you did recommend the game. That's true, and I would not recommend it today. I've definitely changed on my opinions on that. The rule book for Phoenicia is so bad, I would not have even made it to the review at this point. Did you find the Dominion app on the Apple App Store? Well, I've actually reviewed it. You can see that here on our channel. It is TMNT. I thought it might be. I don't really have a favorite turtle. It's not the leader. He's a jerk. Maybe Michelangelo. I don't know. I have no real strong opinion on it. Like spending too much time in a game or giving it takes too long to play, etc. So this is in reference to a previous question. Do you think the more negative opinions from the other reviewers based on time and energy are skewed because of the amount of games they play, like spending too much time in a game? I'm still not understanding the question exactly. Do you think people are negative because they spent too much time in a game? I don't think so. Maybe because they spent too little time in a game, it needs more time. I'm not sure. I mean, it's possible. I mean, anything can skew a review. But my opinion is, a lot of things that can skew review, too bad. And for example, you're like, well, the rule book wasn't good. And that skewed your review. Yeah, well, they should have made a better rule book. Yeah, but this game is super, super long. And if you just, if you wait to game 6, it gets good. Too bad. They should have made it better in the first couple games. Now, if you have a bad group or a jerky person or just a weird play, that can skew your results and all. But hopefully a good reviewer can see beyond that. How many chances will you give a game that falls flat? 1. Period. I mean, unless I miss something. I mean, sometimes there's a game and I'll reread the rules and rules and rules and rules. I'm like, I have to have missed something. No game could be this bad. But life's too short for me to give games too many chances. What content or characters out of the DC Heroes United are you most excited to see? I don't know that I have any real strong. I mean, the Batman villains probably, because I find Batman's villains to be interesting. What is my current hot game? Well, that I won't answer, but I will be reviewing. I have 2 current hot games, and I'm reviewing both this week. Do I think that Marvel United is in the boss battler genre? I guess it is. I mean, if you think about it, it is, right? You're fighting a boss. Yeah, probably. There was a communication that DC Heroes United would be compatible with the United system, which is kind of a backdoor way of saying it would work with Marvel United. Sure. Um, on average, how many times do you and your team play a game before rating it? Enough. Oh, before rating it. I rate my games after the first play. But I think you meant reviewing it, and which is enough. Is a phone good enough to use to record a number submission on the top 100? Sure. Also, do you still need that? I might need one or two more. If you could only keep games from one decade, what decade would it be? I'd have to go back and look and see like where all my favorite games are. I guess from this decade, since my 1 and 2 came out in this decade. But after that, I don't know. I would like to see you do a top 10 house rules. I might, but I highly doubt it because I have very few games that I house rule. What game, which is hard to explain, is most worth pulling out for a group of new people to you? Mamma Mia is a real pain in the neck to explain, but new people really like it. It's fun to play. I'm getting better at saying no, said Chrissy, to replaying games that fell flat for me again. Yeah, I mean, we have to realize sometimes that we are adults, and when the number of people who allow themselves to be wheedled into stuff, like at a con, I was talking about this the other day, like at cons, people act like little children. They're like, I'm going to bed. And people are like, no, stay up. And then they're like, yeah, okay, I guess. Like, you're an adult. You should be able to overcome peer pressure. And that's the same way someone's like, I don't like this game. I'll play. You'll like it with me. No. You don't do that with a lot of other things, right? Like if you don't like a food, someone's like, you should try it again. But I don't like coconut. Try it. It's great. And yeah, sometimes it's okay to say no. Have you ever thought of doing a top 10 of garden, lawn, or picnic games? I don't know what if picnic games are playing at a picnic, then no. I don't want to do that. Garden, lawn, you mean games about garden, lawn? Probably not. What theme setting would you like the next open world game to be set in? I don't understand that question. Are you talking about video games or board games? Because board games, there's not that many open world games to begin with, and so as long as it's interesting, I don't really care the setting. For video games, I want the sequel to Skyrim. Let's go. It's been, 13 years now? It's been a long time. Are there any games you're aware of coming to or on Kickstarter you're most looking forward to getting? Maybe. But I'm not going to answer that because that's just an on and on and on thing. We talk about stuff on Kickstarter, and here's what I do. I back something on Kickstarter and then immediately forget about it. The only game that breaks my concentration on that, and I'm like, ooh, I can't wait till it comes out, is Marvel United, because I just keep a little bit closer of an eye on that. But for the rest of it, a game shows up and I go, ooh, that looks interesting. How do you deal with losing or damaging game components over time or plays? I try to get them fixed and upgrade it. Did you ever play Jerry Hawthorne's Aftermath? I did. And how does it compare to Adventure Tactics? They're nothing alike. Like, at all. I can't think of one way they're alike other than they both start with A's. I'm not joking here. Adventure Tactics is a deck building boss battler. I don't see what this one is at all. Could a game with a bad rulebook make your top 100? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. Let me rephrase. I'm looking for a recommendation or two of light family games which might be good for people with poor vision. Less reading small symbols. No need to track things across the table. Again, I highly recommend you ask that question on Facebook, because this is not particularly something I think about much. I could go and put research into it, but so could you, and we would both save our time by just asking on Facebook for people who actually have this problem and would go and answer it for us. What is an item from the 80s or 90s you wished we still used? Landline? No. Phone book? 100,000 times no. Blockbuster? It was fun to like browse in Blockbuster. I like that. Lawn darts? No. I don't know. I'm sure there's something from the 80s or 90s I wish we still used. I'll tell you, I do miss sometimes the portals to the internet. I mean, AOL, CompuServe, whatever. When you went in, you're like, ooh, this is there. And then it was like, there was chats and there was games and stuff like that. But then there was the internet itself. And you were like, why? I don't know. Just that, it just felt like you were going into some untamed universe. Games to play outside. Maybe someday I'll do a game like that. I would rather pass it off to someone else. I would love to play games outside. I really would. But wind ruins most of them. And so I just don't even want to try to play games outside anymore. Unless it's a non-windy day. And, you know, I don't know. I play games on my back porch with my kids. But there the wind doesn't affect us. How many games do you own at home in your personal collection? 15? Maybe? 20? Maybe? Is it because your stash at Dice Tower headquarters is so large? Indeed it is. Did you see the Awakened Realms 2024 trailer? I did not. I was in it. Oh, well, that's cool. Oh, no, don't be sorry for asking. I think asking questions are fantastic. But the forums are better because you'll just get a better answer for that. You know, I mean, I would not ask. I think the best chance is to ask people who actually have done it. Are children's games just for siblings? I don't know what that means. Children's games are for children. No one at school plays any games except for classics like Monopoly. Well, you can get people to play games. You just have to introduce it to them. I actually wish we still had phone directories. It's almost impossible to get legit contact info for my job at the age of cell phones. Maybe. I found the internet's really good to find phone numbers. People are now listing things from the 80s or 90s. I've yet to see one that I want to come back. It seems like a lot of staff on the Dice are former teachers. Is that how you met many of them? No, I just think there's a correlation between teaching and then teaching games. Also, what grade and subject did you teach? I taught many different things. I taught English as a second language. I mostly taught high school math. I taught a little bit of middle school English, history, and Bible. But mostly high school math. You have a complete day off with zero responsibility, and the kids are taken care of. What do you do on your dream day off? I don't know. I go spend a day out with my wife doing something. That's my favorite days in the world, are doing that. And I do that sometimes. How many games should you own? You don't have to own any games. You can love games and just play other people's games. And should that number be 300? No, it should be whatever. Have you ever been to the Tokyo Game Market? I have not. If no, do you, the Dice Tower, plan on attending eventually? I'm not saying it won't happen. It might happen in the future, but it's very expensive to go over there. What is the worst thing someone can do while you are explaining the rules? The worst thing you can do when someone is explaining the rules, and I've been guilty of this, so I try to keep my mouth shut, is to backseat explain them. There's nothing people need less than two people explaining the rules. One person's explaining, someone else will butt in and go, well, actually, yes, this is, don't forget this. And the secondary explainer, 99% of the time, is terrible at it. They're like, well, here, you need to know everything. They're usually very good at the game, but they're not good at explaining games. So I'll say, okay, this is the general overview of the game. And the person's like, yes, and here, you want to make sure you're doing this, 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 and this, and this. And they have a bunch of esoteric cases, and people are like, wait, what? And it just causes a lot of frustration. How many games is too many for a personal collection? When you run out of space and when you run out of money, those are good indicators. I know people, they'll say, yeah, I'm thinking about getting a storage unit. I'm thinking, why? Why do you want to own games? Like, if you have games in a storage unit, what good does that do you? It's not a good retirement thing. Just sell the game and put the money in some sort of bank account or some sort of, investment opportunities. Is it because you're like, why, I'll play that game? If you're putting in a storage unit, you're not playing it. So it might as well just be a brick in that storage unit for you. So there's some things that can tell you when you have too many games. Can you clarify the conversation from the podcast where you said you want people to support game designers by buying their games, but you don't want them to buy games just to buy them? Well, I don't remember what I was saying, actually. I mean, you buy games to support a game designer. Well, I'm trying to remember what we were talking about. So when you buy games in the secondary market, you don't necessarily support the game designer. The game designer doesn't get any money from a secondary market thing. And you say, well, that's fine, they already got the money. Sure. So sometimes it's nice to buy a game, whether it's Kickstarter or some other place, because you're directly supporting the designer if you buy a new game or what have you. But don't buy games just to do that. Maybe that's what I was saying. I don't remember. The yen is so weak right now and getting weaker. Good chance to visit Japan in general. Well, that's not 100% accurate. I can't use yen to buy an airplane ticket to Japan. And the airplane flight is a considerable charge. And hotels are just expensive. And time is money. People always forget that time is money. And so you got to be careful on those, folks. There's a lot of people who jet set all over the place. These people are fairly wealthy or well off, and they go to conventions all the time. It seems like they go to convention once a month or once every 2 months, and you can get jealous of that. They have that time. They have that money. But that doesn't mean the ordinary person does. Here at the Dice Tower, we do go to more conventions than most people, for sure. We have our own 4 conventions we go to. We go to Gen Con in Essen and maybe 1 or 2 other cons. I'm going to BGG Spring at the end of May. So if I add that to Gen Con in Essen and World Series of Board Gaming, that is 4 plus 4. I'm going to 8 conventions this year. That's a lot of conventions. It's a lot of time. It's my job. And even though it's my job, I mean, it still isn't free to go. And that's 8. But I also have to count in time. Every convention we go to, we're not doing content for the Dice Tower channel. Every convention I go to, I'm away from my family often. I'm away from my church. I'm away from just the area. So that time is an account. When I was a teacher and lived in Korea, I went to 1 convention a year, Origins, and that was it. And I wish I could go to more, but never worry about that and realize that time is a real factor sometimes. So people are like, oh, you should go to this con, you should go to this con, this con. And I could go to a decent amount of cons, even quote unquote for free. The con would pay me to come. Maybe they would pay for my flights and hotel. But I also don't have all the time to go to them. I could go to cons all over the place and have time. And you would see my jet-setting life, and I could do, and maybe that would actually get me lots of views and stuff. But it would decrease my ability to review games. I would review a whole lot less games, and it would probably highly decrease my family relationships because I would be gone so much. Let's see, where am I? Oh, I think I caught up on questions. Well, there you have it. 9:42. I'm getting faster each time I do this. I'll give you guys some heads up on what's coming up this week. We're going to be reviewing Primal, The Awakening, Union Stockyards, Biohack, The City of the Living, Slay the Spire, I'll be taking a look at 5 party games. We got Look Back coming, actually. Where did this come from? Huh. I wrote my list out twice. Well, that's interesting. All right. Well, that's saving. I wrote my checklist twice. I need to write down that I'm writing my checklist multiple times. Anyhow, let's see what we got here. Is there a gateway campaign game you'd recommend to play with someone who likes light, short games? You have to give me more information on that, because do they still want to play? Do they still want to play things? I mean, there's campaign games like My City and My Island are both legacy games that are really simple. But you might be like, oh, well, I was looking for a game where you go through a dungeon or something. So what are you looking for? Do you have self-control? About what? We all have self-control to some degree. I mean, every time you walk up to someone, you don't just say everything that comes to your head. So you have some self-control. Everyone has some semblance of self-control. So, yes, I have some. Do we keep normal hours 5 days a week? Yeah, for the most part. Would I consider doing a series and following each of the team members on a day in the office? We've done that, actually. I've done one, and a couple other people have done one. We haven't done all of them. Maybe I'll do some more people in the future. Will there be a review for Station Fall? Did we get a copy of Station Fall? We might not have. That might be why we haven't got it. Make sure you add your checklist. Only make one checklist. Yeah, you know what it is last Friday, or last Thursday, actually, I got ahead by building a checklist. And then this morning, I got up, and one of my things I always do Monday morning is make my checklist. Well, the good news is the checklists are pretty much the same. I didn't add anything. Yeah, wow. Like I really just kind of crossed what I did here. Oh, I missed that. I didn't write that on here. All right. Anyhow. Are you training to be Santa, checking your list twice? Well, checking the list twice is fine. That's what Santa does. He doesn't write the list twice. Live Q&A. I can check that one off. Not completely, because I'm not done with it yet. And that's done. Oh, wow. I'm like on fire now. All right. Favorite magic system in the Cosmere? Probably the Mistborn one. I like them all, though. Usually. Brandon Sanderson's really good at making magical systems. Do you have any advanced knowledge on how the Marvel United campaigns are going to work? I do not. Any thoughts on them either way? I think that if you want to see somebody know how to run a crowdfunding project and just wrap the people who follow that project around their fingers, watch a United project. Now, to be fair, it's easy because the people are excited about superheroes. So when the DC one launches, people are like, okay, are we going to see Flash? Are we going to see Reverse Flash? Are we going to see this and that? Are we going to see Kilrog and whatever? And people are looking for that, so it's easier than, say, running another project where you're like, and now we're adding Chikapotuupa, this new martial swords master. And people are like, oh, that's cool. But they're not looking forward to it. So, but they do a pretty good job about that. Do you consider listening to an audiobook as reading a book? I do. Why would it not? I mean, it's the same thing. Using your eye. I mean, if someone was blind, would you be like, well, guess you'll never read again? They're like, but I can listen to books and I can use Braille. You're like, well, only Braille counts. No, audiobooks are definitely reading books. Why not? Do you unbox your games and sort them in the box when you get it, or do you leave it in shrink wrap until you are ready to play it? Now, we do both here. Sometimes it's shrink wrap. Sometimes we unbox it and sort it out ahead of time. Will I ever tire of Marvel? Probably. I think I'm very tired in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It just, this last phase, other than, I mean, they did some interesting movies, but there's nothing tying them together. The TV shows seem to peter out. Just is kind of like, eh. Comics, I'm always tired of the comics. I still read them, but there's always some grandiose big thing going on, and I have to struggle to figure out what happened, what caused it, what did it, how we got to where we're at. Graphic novels make a lot of this stuff a lot easier to follow. Ooh. Ugh. Sanderson has good talks on making magic systems. Oh, okay. I would like an adventuring game, but I'm in search for a campaign my wife would enjoy. Still not giving me an answer there then. The Tales from Red Dragon Inn is not too difficult to play. Maybe that would be the one for you. Sorry, I meant the campaign decks that give us a story to play through on Marvel United. Now I got to figure out. Oh, you're asking if I know about that? Well, again, no, I don't. I know nothing about DC. I know nothing about DC United that you all don't know. What are your thoughts about Books of Time? Books of Time. Oh, that's a board game. Right. What did I give it? I'm pretty sure I gave it a 7. Yeah, I gave it a 7. It's interesting, flipping through books and stuff. It's a gimmick more so than anything else, but I enjoy it. How do you decide which top 10 lists are done by one member of the team, like cards tear up in games, and which get the group treatment? I pick ones for if I think there's going to be a difference between the top 10s. And something like cards tear up in games, it's just an idea I came up with, so I decided to do it. It's a small top 10 list, doesn't need necessarily. It took me a ton of time to figure that out, a lot of time. But people do different small things occasionally. I consider that to be a small top 10 list, but maybe that would have made a good top one for a bunch of people, but this didn't even occur to me. Have you still been playing Baldur's Gate? Yes, so, and there's going to be slight spoilers in my answer here, folks, so keep that in mind. So, I'm in Act 2, and in Act 2, there's some big things that go on, and I'm not going to spoil too much of them, but I have promised people all over the place that I am going to rescue people from this prison. So I went and did something else, this really big event that happened, and they were like, hey, once you do this event, it's going to change the landscape forever. I'm like, fine. So I did this big event, and I'm like, now let's go free the prisoners. So we storm the castle, essentially, go down to the prison cells, and I fight through a bunch of undead to find the prison cells are empty, which, incidentally, means that the people in those cells were the undead. They're all dead. And I was like, man, fine. I'm going to go back. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to get things done right. So I went back to the prison first this time, where the prisoners were still there, went in, talked to the warden for a bit. Then I got tired of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm killing everybody. So I did kill everybody. And then I freed the prisoners, and they all ran out and died. So I'm like, man, I'm going to save these prisoners. Now, you can argue, and I know some people play Baldur's Gate to the point where they'll say, don't go back, don't change things you do. I'm a hero. I want the good thing to happen. So I'm trying to figure out, I just kind of, I played it for a bit yesterday just to relax, and it was not being very relaxing. So I just stopped and said, I'll come back, get my head in this. I got to figure out how to save all these people in prison, because I'm pretty powerful. I can walk in and just free them by force, but apparently that's not the way the game wants you to do it. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get it done, and, well, I will free them. It's going to happen. But I am enjoying it still. But yeah, it's kind of a weird situation to be in these things. Then I'm going to go back and do the big thing again, which was already hard to do. Then I'm going to go fight. It's a long game. I'm still in Act 2, and it feels like there's a good chunk of Act 2 left yet. It's been a number of years since your top exit escape mystery puzzle games list. Any chance for an update? I might do that. The problem is if I do that again, I'm going to have to go back and look at all the different ones because I don't remember. I might do it more like groupings, like unlock versus the exit advent calendars versus, this one, and this one. I might do it that way because specific scenarios would be harder to do. Thanks for doing these live Q&As. No problem. This might be the last one I catch due to taking a new job starting this week. Well, first of all, congrats on the job. Also, they'll still be around after I'm done recording them. Spoiler alert. Well, too late for that. But I don't think it was not particularly big spoilers what I did there. Have you tried Bang Bang Shrimp? Sure. What's your favorite local seafood dish? Here, there's a key lime, scallops, and shrimp meal that I get down in the Keys that I just really, really love. But I also really like fried conch and conch soup. Those are both very, very enjoyable. Favorite items you've spotted so far in a Jack Vasel Memorial Fund auction? Thank you, Kara. I should be mentioning that. It's on Board Game Geek right now, the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund auction. And this is an auction. I saw some cool painting stuff. I did not check it for the last couple days because I was out. But some really cool different things that get at. So I recommend it. So if you back it or if you put items up on the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund auction, you can you help support the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund, which helps gamers in their time of need. So go check it out. I mean, there's some amazing stuff there. When a game has a score track around the outside of the board, where should the zero space be? In a corner. I don't care other than that. Finding out that you made a small studio in the shed, are you and the team thinking of expanding more? I'm always thinking about how to expand things and make them bigger and better if I can. You once talked about a non-board game you played with youth kids where you would make things worth a crazy amount of points. I'm not sure what game that is. I played all kinds of weird games. So I apologize. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Have you all started discussing your plans for 2025's Kickstarter campaign? Yes, I'm always thinking about that. So I watched A Delicious in Dungeon. I think it's good, but I was caught off guard with some of the later episodes. Yeah, it really changes as you go through it. We saw you, Chris, and Z highly spoke of Medieval Academy. They came out with a new edition. Have you seen it? I do. And do I still recommend it? I do. Thank you, Loopy, for putting in the links in the description, and Mike for putting in the links to the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund. Conch, never tried it. Conch is very similar to clam for me, really, in many ways. It's really good. You can get some nice cold salads with it in, but it's also really good in soup, and I like fried conch, and a lot of people like conch cakes. And it wasn't until I came down here that I realized it was pronounced conch and not conch. But what am I supposed to know? I mean, I just read things the way that they're spelled. I always get in trouble that way. In some of your review videos, there's an Optimus Prime on the shelf. What figure is that? I don't know what you mean. If it's Optimus Prime, isn't that Optimus Prime? I think we have a robot from Optimus Prime. A possible top 10 scoring tracks? I don't know. Am I excited for Deadpool and Wolverine? Well, I want to see the X-Men come into the MCU. Deadpool in the MCU is kind of a weird thing. I mean, the movies are really, really crass. And I like the MCU because they're movies I can watch with the family. I don't think I could watch Deadpool with the family. So there is that. Have you played any games this year that you were not expecting to like as much as you did? Yes. Yes. So I keep a track, and I've mentioned this before, I keep track of all the games I review over the course of a year. So right now, I have played 69 games from 2024. Now, I've reviewed and played way more than 69, but a lot of games I'm playing and reviewing are from 2023. And of those 69 games, I have ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them a 9. I really like these games. They're like amazing. And of those 5 games, 1, 2, 3 of them just came out of nowhere for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. That's a 9 too. Never mind. I have 6 9s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 9s. And 4 of these 6, I mean, I knew about them. I had heard about them. 2 of them I actively went into with negative attitudes. And then came out and was like, wow, these were actually really good. Then the 2 of the other ones, one I didn't know much about, and then the other one I knew a little bit about it and played it and really, really enjoyed it. The other 2 I was kind of expecting to like, and those 2, A Message from the Stars from All Play, when I first heard about it, sounded amazing and played it and enjoyed it. And then Wormspan, which is kind of a dragon version of Wingspan. So that one, I enjoyed that a lot too. Yeah, there's a lot of cool games that came out this year. I'm excited. My number 20 game is, I keep track of my 1 through 20. In fact, I rank all my games in order that come out over the course of the year. And I make little markings on them because at the end of the year, I like to do top 100s, top 10s and things. And this helps me out a lot. So, alrighty, well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks so much for watching. To my office, you can see me as, on this side, I guess, as the Emperor of China, me and my wife, and our art from the custom card of Meadow. So that's cool. And then over here, more pictures. Over here, game supplies. But almost no games are in this office. But next door, so many games. Join us back as we play a couple games live today in a few hours. And we'll play it live. And stay tuned for our top 100s tomorrow and reviews all week. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Q&A here on the Dice Tower. Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vasel.